Welcome in today. Appreciate you guys attending. Everybody on the internet out there in the virtual interweb out there. Hope you guys are all having a great day. My name is Jason Sheppard. I'm an IRA specialist here at Newview Trust. And today, as you guys have all gathered and have all seen, we will be doing a cryptocurrency 101 class. It's going to be a very high level overview of kind of what cryptocurrency is and how owning it in your IRA can help down the line. So appreciate you guys all joining us today. Just to kick this off, Newview Trust serves as an alternative custodian for alternative assets. I apologize, I had that backward. Custodian for alternative assets. We do not provide tax, legal, or investment advice, nor do we sell investments. All of our clients hold these assets purely at their own direction and are chosen by the client. We do not advise any of those. We do custody IRAs, ESAs, HSAs, as well as 401ks that all hold these alternative assets. What is a self-directed retirement plan? A self-directed retirement plan is a plan in which the owner directs all investment decisions themselves. It is not held by a financial planner or an investment advisor. But most importantly, and this is probably one of the more common things I come across, self-direction is a marketing term, not a type of account. So the IRA or 401k that you set up with Newview is no different than having an IRA with a Charles Schwab or Fidelity. It mainly has to do with the options on the back end and just kind of giving you a larger menu of options to choose from instead of only holding your assets in the stock market or some of the other assets, traditional assets that the more traditional companies offer to you from there. So the benefits of self-direction, first of all, diversification. In past classes, we've touched on this many different times. It's more than just investing in different stocks and different industries within the stock market. Diversification can truly be done within a self-directed account to where you are diversifying. Even if you only hold real estate, you can diversify your type of real estate that you own. You can diversify geographically. And there's no shortage of ways to diversify your portfolio with that. You can also, there's also tax savings by self-directing your retirement account. Ultimately, because there are no capital gains tax with IRA investing and 401k investing. There's actually added tax benefits with 401ks that potentially could be out there for you. But mostly, if you're investing with your personal funds, investing with your IRA just makes that much more sense because it's tax advantaged or tax deferred later on. And you're only taxed when you start taking money out. So if you feel like your income level when you retire and your tax bracket is going to be lower when you retire, it makes sense to invest in there because now you might as well delay those taxes to a tax bracket that's lower. And then if it's inverse and you think your tax bracket's going to be higher when you retire, it makes sense to do it within your IRA even more because you can go ahead and get those taxes paid now. And that way you don't have to pay that later on. And lastly, invest in what you know best. You may specialize, you may be a realtor. A lot of our clients are in the real estate industry. Invest in the assets that you're researching for your clients day in and day out. If you know a property is a good deal, it makes sense to invest in yourself and invest in what you know and put your expertise to good use instead of paying somebody to manage a portfolio out there for you. So it just makes sense. It just makes sense there. So we're going to touch on, like I said, we're going to do a very high level overview of cryptocurrency. We do have a team in our brokerage department that they are a little bit more well-versed on this and can go kind of that extra layer. So if you do have information any questions later on, please continue to put them in the chat. If I don't know, I will get back to you after I have the opportunity to follow up on those. Cryptocurrency tends to be a very niche industry and niche investment, and there's people that are experts on this, and then some people just like to get into it because it's the hot thing, and then some people just do not want to do this. In fact, a few of the feedback I got from the last time we did a class on cryptocurrency was, I'm glad you did this because now I know I don't want to invest in cryptocurrency. So that was a benefit there, and just doing this high level was all the information a few clients needed to know this was something they did want to get into. But it may just be the start on that journey, and we have experts in-house that can talk you through that journey on exactly how to go through this. So a quick overview of the history. So in 2009, the first Bitcoin was mined, and that was when it really started taking off. I can remember hearing stories back in 2009. You literally had to fill out, you had to like complete long math problems, and you'd be rewarded by mining a single coin. But back then, the coins weren't valued very highly. So it was really a very niche within even a smaller subset of the industry out there. Even smaller subset was looking at these coins because it took a long time to get that going. 2010, the first transaction using Bitcoin took place, and it actually cost, for 2 pizzas, it cost 10,000 Bitcoin, which now the price of Bitcoin right now is, I haven't seen the latest numbers. I think it's somewhere in the $30,000 to $40,000 range. So imagine what if they could buy with 10,000 Bitcoins now with the price where it's at. 2011, more coins started coming on board, like Litecoin, that continue to grow, and now there's no shortage of coins that are available. We'll touch on how to invest in those coins, how to find coins, how to research certain things like that. 2012, major platforms began offering crypto trading and opened it up to retail investors as well. 2013, 2015, they started increasing the regulation. Congress started getting involved, and they allowed additional regulation, but then they authorized also during that same time for it to be held within IRAs. Over the last 5 to 7 years, it's gained even more acceptance. There's whole countries now. El Salvador is based on a cryptocurrency, and they're now allowing full buying and selling of goods with cryptocurrency across the country, across the globe as well. Back in 21, it did reach its all-time high of just over $60,000 per coin. So imagine how much those 2 pizzas would have been at that point, or the 10,000 that they used to buy the 2 pizzas. They could probably purchase 2 million pizzas at that point. So that's a high-level overview of the history. We'll touch on some key features, go through some common questions and things like that clients have submitted to our team, and kind of the most common things that they touch on. But we'll touch mainly, kind of drill down in Bitcoin, because a lot of the functionality is very similar, but we'll focus on this. The key features to benefit, Bitcoin's decentralized. Nobody owns the Bitcoin network. And transactions, because they're done on the blockchain format, they can never be altered or censored. It's all secure peer-to-peer transaction. There's no centralized controlling force that controls how those coins and those transactions are monitored. There's only 21 million coins in the marketplace, and that's the max that will ever be created, which makes it that's one of the biggest drawbacks with some of these coins, especially when you get outside of Bitcoin, is there's no controlling factor. There's no way to to limit the supply, which means it's a little bit more inflation preventative and controlling for something to that effect. Lower fees. It's typically much cheaper to move money through Bitcoin's network, and it allows transaction because there's no transmitting of currencies. There's no additional fees associated with that. And then there's a global digital ledger. All Bitcoin transactions are recorded on the blockchain. So there's no, it's a lot easier for those transactions to be marked down, as well as opposed to having a centralized government force hold those transactions from there. So we'll touch on first, before we get into some of the more common questions. Amy, are there any questions online right now, or?
Not. Let me check. Rob would like to know, what is the safest way to purchase crypto? What companies can you purchase from with SD401k?
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. That's coming up in a few more slides here, Rob. So I'm glad those are all great questions, and we'll get to those here shortly. So that way we're not jumping back and forth. So those are all popping on first. Amy, you got me on the wrong one. So first question, is investing in crypto safe? Obviously depends on your level of safe. Obviously there are platforms that do have a little bit more credibility. And then it's going to also depend on the coin that you choose to invest in. Some of these coins get inflated. So then it has there's all those different ways that it can undercut the value of your investment. But ultimately, it is an increasingly regulated market. I'm just like we talked about at the very outset, we never advise, don't take anything that we discuss as advice as far as investing in cryptocurrency. But please do your due diligence. Make sure you're investing with in a great manner. We do have a couple platforms that we utilize, and we'll touch on in future slides that can help raise that level of safety. But as far as overall safety, it's safe and becoming even more safe from there. It just really all depends on your level of risk tolerance. So that's really where safety comes in. Do I pay taxes on cryptocurrency? Absolutely, it is. There would be capital gains if you're investing in your traditional platforms. The benefits to investing with your self-directed IRA, you have the ability to defer those taxes or eliminate them depending on whether or not you have a traditional or a Roth IRA. So the benefit of investing with your self-directed IRA, which we specialize in, delays or puts off those taxes permanently, so that way you never have to deal with anything. The other thing too is, as regulation, as the nature of that goes through, imagine more and more scrutiny, and also kind of to the point of the previous slide, the more and more scrutiny means the more and more the light shines on that, the more and more they look at that as a potential benefit of the taxes. So absolutely, what does investing in cryptocurrency with an SD IRA look like at NewView? It's very, very simple. You would work with our brokerage team, and we'll touch on the two platforms here shortly, to establish an account with one of the platforms that we work with. One platform is called Cboe Digital, which used to be ErisX, and then we also have the ability through a company called Gemini to set up those accounts. We would open establish the IRA here at NewView, have the funds transferred or rolled over depending on the type of account they're currently sitting in, And then once the account with either SIVO or Gemini are set up, we would then transfer those funds for you to begin buying and selling cryptocurrency within that account that we established. And those companies then would communicate with our teams to make sure we keep you in compliance with everything. Make sure you have all the documentation you need. So since I mentioned them, we'll go ahead and touch on those. SIVO, formerly ErisX. The downside, in my opinion, or the benefit, depending on your outlook, is they only offer the major coins within their platform. So your Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Litecoin, all of that is all held within that, and you would work with our brokerage team to set up a trading profile with SIVO in the name of your IRA. So that way the IRA owns that account with this platform. Next, the other one, as we discussed, Gemini. According to Forbes, it's the #2 crypto app and exchange platform overall, and it's the #1 for beginners. So we thought that was a good use of our resources and a little bit more stable platform. According to Investopedia, it was awarded Best Crypto Exchange for security, as well as Best Crypto Apps and Exchanges through Forbes we just discussed on. And then NerdWallet, it was on their list of 11 best crypto exchanges and apps when they did their list back in 2023. So highly regarded, highly researched by all the major companies in the space to hopefully give you a better, kind of going back a few slides, the security side of it, knowing that so many people have looked at this type of platform and everything from there. So it is available in all 50 states, very cost friendly. And then over 80 different coins are available on Gemini. So it gives you a little bit more flexibility. There are still some coins out there, like we discussed in previous slides. You want to make sure to do your due diligence before purchasing any of the coins and investing in those, making sure you're weighing your risk and your reward along with those. So another common question that we get is, how do I securely store my crypto? Obviously, these are on platforms. One of the main things with investing with your IRA, similar to gold and silver and other precious metals, you can't physically have the wallet yourself. It has to be in an account owned by your IRA, and you have to be able to kind of keep it at arm's length. So that's why we set it up for you in the name of your IRA and help do all that. But there's several different ways. If you're not an IRA investor, you're only here to learn how to invest in cryptocurrency. There are wallets that you can have both online and offline in order to securely keep that crypto safe. And when I say wallet, an offline wallet, you're not holding the crypto. You have a certain passcode and an encryption that allows for you to access a platform that has access to your wallet, and that'll either be, like I said, either a software that you have on your system, your computer somewhere that has that encryption code, or a hard tangible asset that has that crypto code for you from there. We just touched on that. What if you want to, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. If I want to store my crypto in my own wallet, it would have to be outside of the IRA. Yeah, I mean, there are ways to do it within and choose your own trading platform. If you don't want to work within the SIVO or the Gemini platforms, you could do what's called a checkbook LLC. And if you have any questions on that, we do have previous classes and webinars that have discussed checkbook LLCs. But if you did want that freedom, just know with great power comes great responsibility. You would be responsible for record keeping of that LLC and doing your own due diligence and additional level of scrutiny to make sure that the company that you're choosing ultimately gives you the data and the information that you need in order to keep your IRA in compliance if you choose to go that route. But you still couldn't take physical ownership or have that physical wallet or the physical access. Everything has to be owned by either your IRA or that checkbook LLC that you set up that owns your IRA to make sure you're keeping that arm length distance from there. So as I stated, I did want to point out this right here is the phone number for our brokerage team. They deal with these questions every day. They can also assist you in the more traditional brokerage options, public securities, mutual funds, things like that. All of those items can be there for a resource for you. So if you do have additional questions or concerns, and please forgive me if I don't have the answer right away for you. Like I said, feel free to either call our brokerage team or put it in the chat, and I'll follow up with them to get that direct answer for you from there. But I did want to go ahead and hold this one up on the screen as long as I can. Let me just double check. Yeah. So I'm going to keep this here while we go online and see if there's any questions out there. Amy, in addition to, I think it was Rob earlier, are there any other questions in the chat, Amy, that we can touch on and maybe help out from there?
Yes, we have a couple. So the first one is, can you explain the concept of a wallet in the context of cryptocurrency?
Absolutely. Yeah, so basically a wallet is a special bank that holds these cryptocurrency, these coins for you. It's a digital place on the internet where you keep track of the many different coins and different amounts of coins. So maybe you have several different coins, or you have a lot of a single coin. But like we just discussed, there's two different important parts: a public key and a private key. The public key is like your address that you can share with others, so they can send that Bitcoin through the blockchain and send it directly to you. It's okay to give people that, just like you have your address in the phone book. It's that public facing format for that. On the other hand, there is that private key. That's that super. It's basically a super password, a secret password that only you know. It's like the key to your house, right? People can have your address, but they don't have the key to your house. You should never share that portion of it, because essentially at that point, that gives access to everything. So, in short, it's a special, for lack of a better term, a special piggy bank that holds your cryptocurrency from there, and helps you keep track of those coins from there. So, good question, very common question. I appreciate you doing that on that coin.
Absolutely. We have another question. How is the value of cryptocurrency determined?
Great question. Just like any stock, any bond, mutual fund, anything out there, the main driver is supply and demand. As we touched on when we were talking about Bitcoin, there's a cap on the supply that will ever be created. So it's very much a supply and demand driven coin. The other factors that drive into that is market capitalization, how many coins out there, and how large that market cap is on there. But ultimately, the other driving factors will be, how often, how useful is it? How many companies are going to be buying and trading in that with that coin? I know there's Tesla not too long ago said they would take Bitcoin, and then they stopped taking Bitcoin and will only take Dogecoin now. So the usefulness of that will also drive the value of the coin and how ubiquitous trading in that coin becomes. And lastly is, the main thing, another thing to consider on those is the regulatory environment within cryptocurrency. If they start tightening down on that, especially with everything that went on with FTX and some of the other platforms out there, the more they start drilling down on that, the less valuable they may become, just because people can't use them as often, and it may shift more back over to only the certain coins that fit that. So that could also affect the price of Bitcoin from there. So good question. I hope that answered that question from there.
We have one more question from online. What are the risks associated with investing in or using cryptocurrencies?
So obviously there's risks with any investment, right? You want to make sure you're doing your due diligence and understanding the ins and outs and the benefits and drawbacks and the risk reward that comes with any investing in any asset class that's out there. But the specific to cryptocurrency, one of the biggest thing is the volatility that the price has been seeing lately. As we discussed back in 2021, the price for Bitcoin had gone up all the way up to over 60,000 per coin, and has now essentially been cut in half. And we talked about how all the way back in, I think it was 2010, 2011, they had to spend 10,000 coins to buy 2 pizzas, which nowadays, it's $20 for 2 pizzas. So just kind of that price volatility of how over the past few years, 10,000 of them were worth $20, to where one got all the way up to 60,000, and then has gone back down in the short 10-12 year span. That volatility really comes in. Regulatory risk obviously come in as some of these platforms like FTX and Coinbase, I believe, is the other one that are being scrutinized right now. That could potentially draw into the factor, or it could be, could cause an issue with valuation and everything that goes into those types of investments. And lastly, is fraud and scams, right? Any sort of decentralized currency opens up to those types of actors that can use that, could attract more fraudsters and scams that go on. Obviously, it's the holidays, so you hear a lot more. This is the right time for people to do scams and things like that. But those sorts of people are also buying and trading in cryptocurrency because it's not tracked like the dollar. It's a lot easier to get away with things. So please be careful. Make sure you do your due diligence, like we discussed on anytime there's a transaction, anytime you're purchasing coins, anytime doing anything like that. Speak to experts in the field that can give you a little bit more advice if you have any specific questions. Because both the increasing regulation and the lack currently of regulation just opens this up to the ability for those types of actors to get involved. So all in all, great question. I hope I was able to answer those. If not, feel free to pop back in the chat. Before we go on, Amy, were there any other questions that popped in?
Nope. No additional questions at this time.
Perfect. Well, if you do, feel free. Like I said, I left this up the whole time. This is our brokerage team's phone number. They can also be emailed if you're a current customer at brokerage@newviewtrust.com. And they're happy to answer questions if you're more inclined to email with questions from there. Once again, brokerage@newviewtrust.com. So what to do next? If this was something that you decided that you want to move forward, learn a little bit more about, or you've heard everything you need to know and now you're ready to move forward, go ahead and scan this QR code, and that'll take you to a landing page to schedule a time with our team to discuss this and have a consultation, discuss which IRA fits you best, whether a solo 401k or any other type of account would make sense for you. We'll provide you with the necessary application, walk you through that process, and then we'll walk you all the way through transferring, rolling over contributions, and then from there, once everything is open, it's time for you to make your first investment and start self-directing from there. Next, very excited about this. AltsCon 2024 is coming up in February 22nd and 23rd. Registration is now open, and in fact, Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, is the Holiday 23 live yet?
It is.
Absolutely. So Holiday 23, you can give the gift of knowledge for this Christmas, since especially if you haven't picked out what you're going to get people for Christmas, what better than the gift of knowledge? It's going to be a 2-day seminar here at the Marriott Orlando downtown, talking about different aspects of investing. We're going to have several speakers coming in to talk about different aspects of investing, and have an exciting keynote that hasn't been announced yet, trying to save some secrets to help continue on. But the registration is now open. Feel free to scan that QR code if you're interested to learn more. Holiday 23 is the coupon code, knocks $50 off of the ticket for the 2-day event. So everything is there. Please also stay up to date with us on our socials. Obviously, this will be actually our last class for 2023 with the holiday coming up. We have exciting classes. We actually planned out a lot more going into 24 to bring in some fresh content, revamp some existing content, give you all that. Feel free to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, any of those. We have videos and articles and different things. We also have a newsletter on LinkedIn that you can subscribe to and learn more. I think that's it. As long as no additional questions popped into the chat, perfect. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time today and joining us to touch on this high level, ever-changing asset class that's out there. Hope you enjoyed, hope you took something of value away from it, and hope to speak with you in the near future. Hope you have a great day.